How's it going, y'all? Thank you guys for sticking with us. So, in this game, next game we have is Undernauts, Labyrinth of the Yomi. So this is a very unique game. It is a sort of a deep dungeon crawler in the vein of games like Wizardry. So it's very, very unique in that sense. So we're going to go through a little bit of sort of the beginning of the game and show you guys what this game is all about. Here you go. So the prologue's pretty long. I'll leave you guys with that when you guys get the chance. It's a very simple explanation to the story. I guys want to get you to the gameplay as soon as we can. But now that I'm alone, I'm watching you guys in chat. Thank you guys for sticking with us for so long throughout the whole stream. I know there was a lot that we had for the stream with announcements and gameplay and all of that. So everybody who's been sticking through, thank you guys so much. So one of the great things about this game, I think one of the things that is a pretty key feature in terms of how to sort of really enjoy this game is that there's a huge customization aspect to the game right here, right? So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the customization for the game. I think it is awesome, and it's one of the things that I think once you start playing more and more of the game, you'll sort of start realizing what becomes the most important parts of the game, right? What are the things that you prefer that become the most interesting? So you start off with 4 style characters. Is sort of pretty simple looking characters. This one's my favorite because he's the most boss looking character out of the 4, so I usually start going with that one. So you can go for a full customization. You can change your name. You can change the Nick's name. This will be the name that shows up sort of on all the text boxes and all of that. And then you can even create your own backstory for the character as well, writing it right here. That takes a lot of work, obviously, but I'm going to leave that for you guys. But it is all customizable, which is the best part about it. Right here, you can come up with a background list. If you guys are familiar with sort of tabletop style games, this is something that isn't anything new. So this will sort of give you a general like stat line, right? So if you want, so this is where a lot of the specificity starts, is right here. You can see on the bottom left part of your screen, there is, if I'm not trying my best not to cover it, there you go. This position is way more this position just makes more sense once we get into the game. But you can see right here that the numbers change pretty drastically when you look on the bottom of your screen right there. So you can sort of pick and choose the way that you want to build your character. This is going to be my main character. Usually with my main characters in almost anything that I play, I almost tend to constantly go for characters that go for a more ranged aspect. So usually physical based, speed based. I love characters like ranger characters, characters that throw things, anything like that. Those are usually my favorite sorts of characters. So even though this picture is going to have a guy with a katana on it, you can customize them however you want. So given that, I'm probably going to go for a athlete style. This one's going to have good speed, and it's going to have decent strength and good constitution, so a very balanced sort of physical aspect, but it's going to lack on stuff like luck and wisdom and intelligence, which is more for casting and special stuff. So this is usually the character that I go for. Then you go into the job list. This job list is huge, as you can see. There's 8 different jobs that you can go for to start. You can see that there's also like a little explanation on what all of them tend to do. So for the most part, you can sort of pick your squad like this, and this is where another set of the customization comes into play. When you get to make a sort of a squad, which will be a sort of 6 set of characters, this is really where you sort of create the balance in your team. So I'm gonna go for a probably a more tactician style. I like this as my sort of head character, just because it gives you some pretty good flexibility in terms of what you want to do with your team. And so if you can sort of, my idea is that if you can helm your team with a very flexible sort of character, the rest of your team sort of has a little bit of a load off, to say. Lastly, you get like a little trinket to start. You can sort of pick where your little extra points go. If you're a tabletop RPG fan, this is sort of the extra skill points that you get with like the race or something like that, right? So, you know, a lot of times, you know, you play a human, you get +2 points to whatever you're choosing. Something sort of like that, right? So since I'm going for a character that's using mostly strength for damage and speed, I'm going to be going with the Kendo Towel. And then this is sort of, you can even, so although I picked sort of the grizzled protagonist, you can actually go even crazier in terms of the customization for the characters. You can see, like, I'm just going to flip through them really quickly because I want to get to the game as soon as I can. But there is a tremendous amount of customization between the characters that you can have. So you can really pick, like, whatever you want, right? Like, look at all the different characters that you can have. This one's my favorite, by the way, if it's, going back to it wasn't obvious. There's also just a tremendous amount of, like, between that, on top of which, let's say I'm going to my favorite character, they each have like different color palettes, different hairstyles, stuff like that. There's a lot to change and stuff like that. So, since I'm going for more of a range style, I'm gonna go for this character. I like the hat off, short hair, big one. So we're gonna go with this one. Okay, so I think my speed stat's pretty good. I'm gonna round out my wisdom stat because I like even numbers. And I don't want any of my stats to be too low for my main character. And then most of the rest of these are going to go into strength. All right, there we go. We have our first character. So this will be the sort of the main character. This is the character that constantly gets talked to. This is the character that is pushing the story for the most part. So, you know, this is just one set of customization you can do. I'm not going to be customizing my entire team because obviously, as you can see, that would take a tremendous amount of time. However, one of the great things is that you can spend that time, or you can sort of go with just sort of basic plain styles, and then you can continue to play the game. I think either one of those is a completely viable thing to do, for sure. So you get introduced to the story, the character, the main character here, the character that you've just created, has just seen this horrific scene of their crewmates being murdered right in front of them by this mysterious character. And she says, I have to eat humans. And yeah, it just becomes like, sort of starts off with this really, really gruesome sight. So immediately on, you sort of have this sense of dread from the area that you're going to be in, right? Like, you already start off with a very strong character in front of you, a very scary character, and you're like, oh man, like, what's gonna happen, like, to me? You know, like, I just created this character. No, not yet. We live to another day. So yeah, like, immediately one of the cool things is that this game immediately sets a tone. It's a sort of very deep, very dark sort of tone that is supposed to add an element of mystery on what's happening in this world that you just introduced yourself to, but you're sort of exploring as well as you are sort of learning at the same time. The world is meant to be explored in this situation right here, like in terms of like what you're supposed to see, but then afterwards at the same time you're supposed to be really learning about you know, how to navigate this bottom area or this labyrinth, right? One thing that also is very good is that, so this is a very new genre for me. As I was mentioning before when I was talking to Mark Flynn of Numbskull, I am a very multiplayer-based player for the most part. That's how I grew up, as I grew up on a lot of multiplayer-based games. And one of the things I think that I immediately put together is that this game is very nice in terms of it lets you know everything that you need to know early on as soon as you need to know it, right? So This thing is like, it's already telling you that with the options button you can have you can get extra help. Look at this, everything that you already need to know about the game is already provided right here. So if you're like me and you like to do like a lot of reading up and like sort of understanding the world and stuff like that and how to work it, you can immediately go into this and you can start reading everything. Or if you're someone who likes to play things as you go along, you can almost ignore this completely and just refer to it every time you have a question or anything like that. So you can see that there's a map in the top left of your screen. This will get filled out as you go along. Right? It's very nice. The game told me early on I'm supposed to recover some health. So you go into menu, go into supplies. Got a little bit of health back. Wonderful. Okay. So first step is to get back to the camp, because we had just gone through this horrific incident. Yeah, it is a bit of a dungeon crawler. It's a little bit unique in that sense, right? Like it doesn't it's sort of like on rails a little bit, but what I mean by that is that you're sort of exploring this dungeon as you're going along, but you're also sort of learning more about the dungeon as well as you playing it as well. Yeah, the first person aspect is also pretty unique as well, and you think early on that's like really sort of difficult to sort of like see everything, right? It becomes very difficult for you to understand like, oh, where am I going, where I'm headed. But I'll show you guys the map in just a second, and it actually becomes very, very easy. So these are some of like the slimes, what do you say, the wolves, depending on what game that you're playing. This is sort of the base mob, you'd say. And what's really cool is I don't think we'll be getting into it. I don't think we'll be getting into it in this game specifically, or in this run through specifically, but you don't always fight them. A lot of the times you'll get into unique interactions where for the most part, like, you can actually talk to them. You can choose to fight them and gain more XP, or if you feel like that, if you don't want to go through all of that and you feel like it might be better for you to maybe skip that part and not fight them, you can sometimes you can have the opportunity to talk with them and actually just avoid the fight altogether, and sometimes they give you cool stuff as well. That's a wall. I think I'm going the right way. A lot of the times one of the things that becomes very difficult is sort of figuring out where you're going along, and at any time you have that problem, it's very easy for you to pull up this map. This is one of my favorite things about the game, honestly, is that the map is so easy to understand. Like, you can tell exactly where you are, exactly all the things that you've already discovered. You can see that, like, if there's like not a line like there is right here, that means there's a direction that you haven't been that you could go, right? And that's something that you can do later. Oh, okay, I was already here. So we're at the camp. So I'll probably speed it up a little bit as I'm going along, just so because I want to get through as much as I can, right? So this is your base camp. You're gonna go to this guy. This guy is sort of your higher up, your supervisor. No, we are not. We were unable to reach Camp 2. And sort of you have to sort of maybe explain to your explain to all these NPCs or to your higher ups what you have to do. So there's a little bit of a sort of branching story aspect to it that you can explore upon. So definitely the characters will say different things depending on what you say to them. So you can like apologize or disagree or stay silent, and all those things will create different situations for you. So this guy, absolutely not caring that I just watched all of my Undernauts die right in front of me. It's like, all right, take 5 more. You need to get to Camp 2. It's important. So this is where sort of a lot of the rest of your character management or creating your characters comes into play. So we're gonna create 5 characters. Like I said, I'm gonna create them as fast as I can. and that way we don't have to spend too much time on that. I'm gonna go for a pretty balanced, like I'm not gonna make a completely nonsensical team. I'm still gonna make a team that I think I'm going to like. So I'm gonna go with, so I have the character I want to be range. I usually want a tank as well. I'm gonna go for this big guy. I love this guy's design of having sort of the how to say, the delinquent look, but also like pauldrons and a shield and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. So since he's gonna be more of my tank, I want him to have high constitution. So I'm gonna go with the highest constitution background list, which is gonna be blue collar. This guy's gonna do a lot of my tanking for me. I believe that's bulwark. Yes. All right, cool. Bulwark. And then we're gonna increase, I'm gonna go with even more constitution if I can find it. Usually there's a +2. Usually there's split, there's a lot of split stuff, and then there's like the +2 and stuff like that, right? He's like a night pirate. That's what is really cool about all of the designs, right? All the designs sort of like are a blend of two different things. This guy is not only sort of like a delinquent look, but also has this crazy shield and stuff like that, right? The same thing with this one. She's wearing sort of army fatigues and has a lance, right? I'm gonna go with this one. I like this design quite a bit. All right, I'm gonna round out one of these numbers, and then this guy's my main tank. I'm going to put as much constitution as I can. All right, so I have my tank. I'm gonna go for more of my specialized fighter. I believe we're gonna go with one of the fighter classes here. Go to the wrestler. Fun fact: one of the cool things about this game is I'm a big wrestling fan, like sort of professional wrestling, and the belt that they have on is from one of the Japanese promotions called Stardom, and it's reminiscent of that sort of belt. So even the belt is designed after a real thing. All of the Stardom belts are actually stars, just like that. So I thought, I was like, oh man, there has to be a wrestler fan, a wrestling fan over with the creators of Yomi. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so this character is going to be more of my sort of close range character. Ranges are a big deal in this game as well. So I'm going to go for I'm gonna go for more of that strength and constitution again. So we're gonna use the same thing as the tank. We're gonna use the same background as the tank, but we're gonna make this a little bit more unique and make her a fighter. This is a character that uses usually sort of fist weapons, stuff like that, small range sort of stuff. And then I'm gonna go with, I want this character to be my most damaging character, so we're gonna add the strength on this one. Yeah, I don't know, I like the wrestler too, so I think we're gonna go the blue unmasked one. I think that one's my favorite. Same thing, I'm gonna round out this intelligence one, and I'm gonna put the rest of it in my strength right here. All right, let's get some magic in this. And go with a sorcerer. So this is where we start. I've been talking a lot about strength and constitution. We get into intelligence. So intelligence and wisdom are split off into two things. So for the most part, intelligence is for damage and wisdom is for healing and stuff like that. Healers are going to be a super duper important part of this game, and once you get past the backgrounds, you can sort of specify, like right here, right? So I'm gonna go 2 intelligence. This is a pretty good design, but I think I'll save this one for the healer and keep this one for my sorcerer. All right, and then I'm gonna put the rest of my points in wisdom because there's not really any good backgrounds for intelligence. But we can specify with everything else, right? That's one of the great things, is that even though not all the backgrounds fit everything perfectly, we can specify with our extra points, with our trinkets, with stuff that we'll get along as we play. All right, let's go with Dr. Cleric. This is going to be my healer. We're going to go with the same background here with the creative, but we're going to switch to Cleric instead, and then pick a wisdom one. All right. Oops. All right, pull it back. I'm gonna give her 1 point in Constitution because you don't never want your healers to die, right? All right, and this is where I'm going to suggest you guys something. I'm going to suggest you guys to have a quick slash sort of like a luck-based character. Luck-based character, luck's going to be a huge aspect of this game, and it's like sort of all of the extra stuff. When you get chests, there's always an opportunity for you to sort of get chests that have traps in them. Luck will help you pass those chests. So I'm usually going to go with the Vagabond on this one. Pick the ninja, and then we're gonna go for as much luck as possible. I think these characters are very, very important in the runs, and so when I've been playing, that's the thing I've realized, is that having a luck character on your team almost at all times is a pretty smart thing to do. There we go. I'm gonna round this out. I'm gonna put one more point of Constitution. Like I said, you don't want your characters to die. So this, as you can see, there's 6 characters that I've created pretty quickly. Obviously, you can go a little bit more into that, but the list is so much bigger than that. You can create so many characters, and that's because when you get through the game, there's going to be a lot of different monsters. There's going to be a lot of different bosses that you're going to play against, and sometimes it might be better for you to change up your team depending on what you need. So sometimes it might be better to run 2 healers instead of 1. It might be better to run a couple of tanks instead of getting damage, right? Sometimes just outlasting the opponent might be a better thing for you, or maybe just going straight damage, right? A lot of those things can benefit you, and sort of a lot of the strategy comes from specifying your team in this situation. So, set up my team. They're going to go into the bottom. Oops, okay. And let's get out of here. This is one of the other characters of the story. Her name's Cassandra, and she's going to be the main medic of the base camp. Anytime one of your characters passes away, or I think they specifically it goes unconscious. When characters go unconscious, you have to come back to the base in order to revive them, or if you have a specific item for it. So that's one of the things you want to try to avoid as best you can. And there's a lot of ways. Obviously, there's healing items. You can use your skills out of combat, which is very nice. But like I said, like this is a dungeon crawler, so resources are limited. You farther away you go away from the base, the harder it's going to be to keep your team up. So this is her just talking about how, like, wow, you let 5 people die? And I was like, listen, lady, I didn't mean to do it, okay? It's very difficult out down here. But like she's letting you know, the story will let you know, this is a business. This is a business. They are trying to get Argon in order to get stuff like get more flowers, Yomi flowers. We'll explain that in just a second. A lot of the aspects of the game come down to getting these pieces and converting them into stuff that you need. Okay, I'm gonna skip through this, but you know, it's a very typical glossary thing. I think we have all of our team for the most part. And we're gonna go back into mine. So, like the characters said before you, or our supervisor, we're trying to get to the second camp, right? That's our main goal here. So this is explaining, I had talked about this earlier. You can see the full map. You can recover a base. We've mentioned these things, right? So map, super duper nice. I love this map. It's so easy to understand. On the bottom left, you're saying like it's a 5x5 square. So every time you switch squares, that means you've gone to a completely different area. Oh my God, we started off so strong. So these bugs are pretty rough. So I'm gonna go with one of these abilities. Okay, this is a great ability for hitting AoE character, or hitting AoE, hitting across. So I'm gonna go with that one. This is my defensive character, but nobody's hurting right now, so I'm just gonna have them attack. This is my more specialized character. So this one's another character that can do AoE attacks, or she can concentrate for more accuracy. This is my caster character. What's nice about a lot of the caster characters is that they have, actually both the caster characters, both have really high skills, or MP, so you feel pretty confident in spending your skills early on. So what's nice about it as well is that, you know, this is if you're a fan of dungeon crawlers, you probably know that this is a pretty grindy game, right? There's a lot to sort of level, especially considering that you can level different characters. So for the most part, you can sort of customize however you want, but you're gonna have to do a lot of work for it, right? But that's the sort of an appeal of the game as well. So you can click through all of this combat like I'm doing right now, right? Or if you hold 2 buttons, it'll speed through it pretty nicely, right? Oops. Since we have only 1 character left, I'm just going to go with some base attacks. Defend, defend, attack. And speed through this one and get through this bug. Easy peasy. All right. So one of my characters is damaged. What's nice is that I can go into skills right here. I can use one of my skills. This is my healer, and I can heal out of combat. So nice. Means you don't have to go into health game. You don't have to go into fights with like 1 HP like some other games are. I think that becomes really annoying. So this is I think the main mechanic of the dungeon crawling aspect, other than meeting mobs and stuff like that. There's these things called Yomi flowers, right? So this character is going to explain to you that there are Yomi flowers, and Yomi flowers open up different ways for you to explore the dungeon. So he's giving you a Yomi flower, and anytime you hit a wall like I did just now, might be a blue spark when you hit that wall. Those are places that you can set Yomi flowers. So I got 5 door flowers. Woo! All right, thank you. I appreciate it. We're gonna turn around. So dungeon construction, it's basically all the things that I explained just now. So you hit 0, or circle, whatever you want to call it. And then you can use the door flower here. Boom. Super duper nice, right? So when you look back at the map, this is now an open area. Very cool, right? So any of these little things right here that you see are places where you can put Yomi flowers. You don't have to put all of the Yomi flowers in all of the spots right there. You make a decision on where you want to go. So it's very important for you to sort of make those decisions and be like, okay, well, how do I get to these specific areas? How do I want to go about it, right? Is there a different way to go about it? Can I save that Yomi flower and go elsewhere? Okay, saying I can't go this way. Very cool. All right. So what's nice also as well is that there's very few random encounters. There's sort of just a little bit, and even in fact, they're not always random. But you can choose a lot of the times. You can choose whether you want to run into mobs or not, and to sort of increase experience. And a lot of the times I would suggest to run into these as much as you can. The blue one's regular. The red one actually is it's like a challenge, right? So it is random in terms of how many monsters you'll face. It'll be random on what the rewards are afterwards. So it's definitely a gamble, but it's going to pay off more often than not. So we got to ambush. They'll attack first. Lucky on the miss, unlucky there. One of my higher defensive characters got hit, so I'm not too mad. Higher defensive character got hit. So she's stunned, unfortunately, my fighter character. So she's going to have to lose one of her turns, which is fine. I kind of want to make sure that she doesn't take too much damage. But she has one of my AoE skills, which I'm not happy about. So AoE skill. No one's too hurt yet, so I'm just going to have my defender attack. Cool, and go with a skill here. I think that is my ninja has taken. Oops, my ninja has taken more damage than I'd like, so I'm gonna heal her. And then let's go with illusion start here, and that way hopefully she takes less damage as we go along. This might be a long one. So very cool. Yeah, we can fast battle through all of that, get through it, and that way we can get through it pretty quickly. I like my run through. I don't like that nothing's died yet, so I can just hit this auto button and it'll give me the same repeat action, which is really nice. Or you can have everybody normal attack or defend if they have the ability to. So you don't always have to select through everything. If you want to just like autopilot through some of the stuff, if you're very confident with what you've done so far, you can do that, and then you just hold the buttons, and then they'll go through the attack for you like that. Since we're 3 characters in, I'm just going to go for another auto. Everybody, my team is pretty darn healthy. I think that we can get through this if we just go through regular attacks. Yeah, exactly. Boom. And then so with the red flowers, you find treasure. So, as saying before, a lot of the locks will be booby trapped. So a lot of the times they'll come with different risks, right? So this is a 100% chance for it not to pop, which is very nice. So we're gonna go with it, no problem. The luck will increase your chance on for it to not proc. So like I said, if you, let's say, had a lower luck chance, you might have a lower percent, and that lower percent means you might actually get hit by the spikes, which would reduce 10% health across your party, which would be really bad, right? You're trying to go back as little as possible. So, but since we have a 100% chance, we get all of these wonderful things. These will also be random as well, so you're just gonna have to learn which is good for what. Go back to my map, how I want it supposed to go. All right, I think we're just gonna continue to go on this way. Actually, hold on. Let's go back to skills. I'm going to use a couple of these heals on my party before we go into another fight. I think my tank's fine for now. She's a tank. See if I'm going in the right direction. Ooh, okay, cool. Yes, I am going in the right direction. Okay, so there's also these things. So like I said, this is a game that very much rewards grinding, or very much rewards you exploring your possibilities in your team. There's these things called Monflowers, and if you put a Monflower on the floor, then it'll create a spawn point in which monsters will constantly spawn, and it will be based on the level that you're already on. So if you click right here, it'll say I'm at a danger level 4. That means the monsters that will pop out will be very, very strong, right? However, if I go off to the side right here, and I come back to where we were before, the danger level will be 2. So if I put a Monflower here, the creeps will be not as damaging. They won't hurt as much. They'll be easier to clear, but obviously it means they'll give you less experience and have less likely of a chance to give you extra stuff as well. No, I did not come through this. We're exploring new spots. Okay. Get through here. All of these just have information. So you can say, like, sometimes they're just signs. Other times they might give you a ton of information. Ambushed. This is a pretty small team. Unfortunately, my same character got hit twice. I'm not a fan of that. And since I want to clear this as fast as possible, I'm actually going to spend some MP on this. Actually, you know, my main character is pretty low on health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my defender to tank all of the hits for the front line here. Attack. Use a skill here. She still has a lot of MP. My healer still has a lot of MP, so I'm going to hopefully get a heal on that character. Same thing, attack. Alright. Oh, so close. Alright. We can auto normal attacks. I'm going to almost guarantee this character's pretty low, or the mob's pretty low on health. Yeah, I was right. My tank's pretty low on health, though, so I'm going to heal them up really quick. Equipment. Oops, sorry. Skills, use. What's nice is that it reminds you, or it's remembering where you were before. A lot of the times you'll just use this for healing, so that's pretty common. Oh, extra treasures. That will be pretty common around here. Darn it. I did go the wrong way. Oh, this is a place where we can use another Monflower. However, the character told us that we're supposed to be going down, I think. So, we're not in the right area yet. There's another red flower right here. I'm going to avoid it for now, but those are good things to remember. Because they'll always give you treasures, right? And since you're trying to level up your characters for the next area or something like that, a lot of the times it's good for you to run into those spots. But for the most part, I'm going to try to avoid them because I'm trying to get to the second camp as soon as possible here. Oh, that's a bad guy. All right. I don't have enough MP for me to consider going through after one of the bosses. I think that one's impassable, unfortunately. Steam page when? As soon as possible. Please follow us on Twitter at Aksys Games. We'll have more information on all of these games as we go along, and we 100% we give you guys that information as soon as we get it ourselves. So, you know, as soon as we have the ability to give you guys more information, we will do so. This is one of those situations. Remember, I said like you didn't have to fight everybody. I'm just gonna talk to these guys. I don't want to fight as much as I can. I'll lose out on the XP, but I got healed. Wonderful. Oh, they gave me MP too. Awesome. Maybe I'll go back and fight that character. You know what? I'm going to do that. It's sort of one of the great things about this game, right? There's so many different things that can possibly happen. So, you know, it might change. Every interaction might change what you want to do, and so you're gonna learn how to sort of play on your feet, right? So this is talking about lights. Once you get lights, you have to beat the big boss of every level, of every little square, right? Once you get and beat that big boss, there will be less random interactions. So when you get less random interactions, you're very confident in going through those parts of the stage in order for you to get to the next camp, get to the next base, get to the next spot without losing too much MP or health, right? So we're getting into this one. This is like the first mini boss, right? This guy's very strong. I'm gonna go with try to get this guy down as soon as possible, right? So this is slow to activate, but takes but deals heavy damage. This means it'll probably put her on the last in turn. So even though my speed's very good with this character, she's gonna unfortunately be like the last character to hit, but she's gonna hit hard. I want to get this character away down as soon as possible. All my characters are pretty healthy, so I'm not gonna go with anything there. I think I need accuracy for right now. Just go for a regular attack. Skills, yeah, we're trying to get this character down as soon as possible. My healer can defend for right now. We don't really need anything yet. And let's increase my evasiveness. Give myself the best chance to live throughout. This guy hits really hard. Sweet, that worked out pretty well. I'm gonna go for another power swing. Another attack with my defender, another attack, another skill, defend. I think we're good across the board, but I have to attack with this character now. All right. So you see, this character has a lot of defense, so the magic works out really well. A lot of the times you'll have to pick magic characters against these characters. Oh, awesome. All right, we got pretty lucky. The first time I ran through this, that character almost wiped me. So we got really, really lucky. And we get some extra stuff as well. Awesome. Rusted kunai. This will be great for my ninja. You can see on the bottom part of your screen, right down there, on the center part where the descriptions are, there'll be all of the jobs will be highlighted. Like for HNT, for hunter, it'll be highlighted. So you can have, so this will work for hunters and ninjas. Very easy for you to explain it. Sub jobs, maybe. I haven't gotten that far into the game, but there might be later on. I can't say that there isn't. A lot of the customization comes from, like, you can consider a sub job as like sort of like a lot of the, well, a lot of the customization can sort of expand the characters, right? So I can have a fighter that's ranged, or like a fighter that's melee, or have a ninja that's melee, or a ninja that's ranged, right? So you can sort of customize a little bit in that area. So you can see that there's like purple lights around and stuff like that. That means that there'll be less random interactions. Very nice for you to get through this, right? I want to try to get through this with as less health loss as I possibly can, right? Ugh. Another set of 4. I'm going to go with some wide range moves again. Like I said, I want to get through these as soon as possible. I want to get to Camp 2 without losing too much MP. Especially my main character, who does most of my damage, does not have any more MP. Let's go with some pyrokinesis. Defend. Attack. Alright. We can speed through this one. And I think they're pretty low on health because we had 2 AoE attacks. So I'm just going to go with a regular normal attack across the board. Yeah, I think I was right. Everybody's pretty good on health. Let's do one more of those. So you can see, like, you can get through these little interactions pretty quickly. So even if you don't like random interactions, you can get through them pretty quickly. Ah, finally, Camp 2. Enter camp. So you get to the next part of the story is that you're looking for You're looking for respite in this camp too after going through so much, so many monsters, and there is none. You can see that it is a horrible sight to be in. This is where we talk to our supervisor in our own camp, but there are no survivors in this one. But there is exactly one survivor. Amongst all of this horrible, horrible sights, we do have one surviving character. Yes, a little girl covered in bandages who's telling her to leave her be. However, I think we're gonna take her back. All right, so I want to go back. Oops, sorry. I want to go back to my camp, and we went through a lot, right? We went through a lot to get to this part. So honestly, I kind of don't want to try to run all the way through it and mess up 1,000 times. So one of the great things, this is one of my favorite mechanics of the game, is that you can actually auto move with using the map. So as long as you've seen the place before, you can get to this portion of the map, click exactly where you want to be, and you can start the auto travel. This doesn't stop you from getting in any interactions. If there's a interaction that's supposed to happen, like this, where you're supposed to talk to this character at this point, it will stop the game for you. It will go through this interaction. So it's not like you miss anything, but it makes your pathing a lot easier, right? You don't have to worry about so much about getting lost and moving around. You can always go back to this map that you're filling out as you're going along. I think that's a really, really big deal. Because you can see that the area is pretty dark. You can get lost pretty easily, but along with the map and the auto travel, you can get through it without having too much worries, right? Which is really nice. We're getting pretty lucky not to get any random interactions, and we made it all the way back pretty safely. Will the auto travel path around the flowers if possible, or will it plow through it? It will plow through it, so there is a risk into doing the auto travel. It is basically just moving you A to B as fast as possible, and without you having to worry about moving around and stuff like that. But at any given point, or I can actually show you right here while we're in the base. If you click the auto travel, right, and do that, at any point you can press a button and you can cancel the auto travel. So if you see it coming up as you're going along, you literally press any button and it'll cancel it for you, and you don't have to run into it. And then you can move around through it normally and then go back into where you want. Yes, thank you, Just Us. This is called Undernauts, Labyrinth of Yomi. This is a deep dungeon RPG style game, sort of in the vein of Wizardry, with a tremendous amount of customization to let you play however you want. Woo! So when we get back to the camp, we see that the character immediately goes to the fusion reactor. We were mentioning when we were in at camp 2 that the fusion reactor was actually broken over there entirely. Ours is broken too, but not in the same way. It's not like destroyed physically, right? It's just not powered. But then when we bring this character over here and we talk to her, awaken the spirit tree. I wonder, what's that? A lot of the early ons of the game will explain a lot about what's happening, but also give you a lot to think about, right? So my role is to sacrifice spirit tree, sacrifice Lucy. Remember, Lucy was the scary character from the very beginning when we watched all of our teammates die to her. So bringing her up again, and we're like, oh, okay, so this character right here must be the bad guy of the game, and you're sort of like getting more information, but you also get another question. What is the spirit tree? Does it have to do anything with the fusion reactor that we're here? So this becomes a really big part. The fusion reactor is actually how you get able to create not only items, but you're also to create extra Yomi flowers. So you do have the ability to get a ton of Yomi flowers. However, they cost this Argon, or they cost the ability to like some of those extra stuff that you get while you're going around, like gems or extra weapons that you're not using or anything like that. You can convert them into currency that you can use for these Yomi flowers. So technically you can brute force through the whole thing. However, obviously that's very time consuming, and sometimes you might actually just die in a random interaction, right? You're not trying to go for 1,000 interactions. You're trying your best to get through this with sort of, you know, your sanity intact. So you're not trying, so a lot of the times those sort of decisions have to be considered very efficiently. Lukey, gotcha, thank you. Sorry, Lukey. I was just informed I was pronouncing it incorrectly. Lukey. This game is set in Japan in 1975, so I should have seen that coming, honestly. So yes, you can create more Yomi flowers here, right? But I'll let you guys take that for yourselves. Oh right, so game will tell you to go to the storage tent. This is the place where you can store all your extra stuff. The storage system. The storage system is so nice. Look at this. You start off with like 2,000 storage. You just have like so much space to work with. So if, like, let's say, you know, none of my characters are going to use this broken axe, I can drop it in there, right? Any of this money that I can just gets converted into stuff, it'll tell you all these descriptions down there. It says basically trash. So it's like, okay, this will just be converted into flower power later on, which will be used for Yomi flowers and stuff like that. I can throw all of these in here too. So 2,000 spots and the ability to convert them all into currency means that your 2,000 spots, you almost never fill this up as long as you're staying pretty efficient. Very, very nice. So this is supposed to be the way to get out, is that, you know, the whole point is that the fusion reactor wasn't working, and then so we couldn't power this. We're trying to get out of this place. Yeah, we can finally say goodbye to this dismal place. So this was like the big deal, right? We're trying to get out of here. We got stuck down here for so long, and that's we're losing Undernauts as we're going along. This is not a safe space. And then, after what we thought was going to be our way out, a mishap, and then fortunate and misfortunate are like intertwined strands of rope. In this world, fortune and misfortune are always side by side. You know this well. You came to chase your dreams, but as a result, you are now on the brink of death. Now you have all been trapped in Yomi. This is not an accident. I did this. The reason? I want you to die. Which is crazy, right? A lot of the times, these bad guys have crazy, like, intentions, right? They're gonna rule the world. I want, you know, a ton of money, something like that. No, this guy is just here to teach all of you a lesson. Believe in miracles and fight hard. Very much a sort of benevolent sort of villain, where he's like, try your best, get out if you can, but it's not likely. That was a lie, right? Will be announcement new Otome games. We did do a bunch of announcements for Otome games. Unfortunately, this is the later portion of our stream where I'm just going through some of the games that we have announced. And if you want to check out what games that we announced, please go check out our Twitter at accessgames.com and our YouTube as well. We're going to be having all of the trailers that we announced for the games and everything there. And so if you've missed anything, You can check out the VOD as soon as we finish up the stream, which will be around right now. I'll say my goodbyes in just a minute, but yeah, stay tuned to those. If you missed it, I don't know if I want to spoil the surprise for you, but yeah, they'll be on the VODs right there with all of our announcements and stuff like that, and they'll be on Twitter in just a moment. So that's it for our stream. It was a pretty great stream. I enjoyed my time playing both Rico, London, and also Undernauts, and having the ability to show you guys a bit of what I've been seeing for quite some time, and now I've been able to share it with you guys. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are super excited for all of the Otome games that we have announced and all of the future projects that we have that are coming out sooner and later. We have next up Olympia Soiree out on 9/9, September 9th. So please get your pre-orders in as soon as you can, and that way you guys can get your sack of cards with the first run of the game. Like I said, make sure to follow us on Twitter. All the announcements for the games that we just announced and anything that we have in the future, we're going to give to you guys all of that information as soon as we can. But I would just want to say, first off, thank you guys for sticking through the whole stream. This was super duper fun. Next stream, so on Thursday, which is what we do our normal Thursday weekly Aksys streams. I'll be going through all of the trailers again, and I'll have a pretty open discussion in terms of everything that we've shown today in the trailers, and just I'm gonna, less than being like pretty formal like I was today, I'm gonna be a huge geek and talk about all of the great games that we announced, and really just share you guys all of my personal opinions that I didn't have time for today. So thank you guys so much. I hope to see you guys next Thursday. We do our streams every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, so adjust your clock accordingly. And hopefully I get to see you guys then. We're going to go through all the trailers and all of that. But that's it for me. It's been a great day so far. I hope you guys are excited as much as I am. We got a lot of stuff for the future. So that's it. Thank you guys. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I hope you guys have a good weekend coming up. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you.